Hey, once again, it's the Credit Doctor coming to you with another quick video on the credit repair process. As you come on into the room, make sure you hit that like button and hit that share button. If you're coming in through YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, like and share the video. Even if you're watching this as a replay, please hit the like and hit the share button, even while that is happening. All right. I want to shout out to everyone, all my credit repair followers, all my Facebook Live followers, YouTube followers, and we'll be on TikTok in a minute. So we're going to continue talking about, of course, more violations, credit violations that the credit bureaus or debt collectors do, like when they violate your rights. We're going to talk about a couple of more things you can actually file a lawsuit for when that happens. So we want to make sure that everyone who comes onto the room, if you have any questions, of course, you can actually, let me state this. If you're watching this on Facebook, look above the video. You may see a link from StreamYard. Click on that link so you can make a comment inside of our chat room and we can see the comment. Okay, so just click on that link. YouTube, you can just comment, you'll go right inside. All right, so of course you guys know I'm Angelo McCutcheon, the Credit Doctor. I've been doing credit repair for over 15 years, helping people repair their credit for over 15 years, of course, right? Started out with bad credit, scores in the low 400s, was able to educate myself and take my scores to the high 800s, and I've been dealing ever since then, been in the 700s basically with credit repair. We've helped so many people clean up their credit, fix their credit, whether they're doctors, lawyers, police officers, UPS drivers, no matter who they are, people who have struggled with credit, we've been able to help them, right? Because repairing your credit is not an overnight fix. It is not an overnight fix, of course. You didn't mess it up overnight. You're not going to fix it overnight. Now, quickly, I just want to make sure, can you guys hear me? If you're listening to me on Facebook Live, if you can hear me, just type in the words, I can hear you. All right, just type in the words, I can hear you. Last time I came on, for some reason, it was muted and it could not be heard. So I just want to make sure you guys can hear me and I don't do a whole 30, 40 minute credit violation information and you can't hear me. Give me some thumbs up, give me some likes if you like what I'm saying. And we're going to keep this thing going. We're going to keep this thing flowing. All right. If you can't hear me, just type in can't hear. If you can't hear me, type in can't hear. If you can, just type in the words can hear. All right. So let's just make sure we get this real quick. Hold on. Just give me a second. Just getting these things together here. When you're trying to work YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook all at once, sometimes you got to do different things. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all of my credit repair followers, my podcast followers, you guys who ask questions, you guys who call to encourage, all that good stuff. And we're getting ready to log on to I believe you guys can hear me now. So we're going to log on to TikTok now. We're going to log on to our TikTok and we're going to go TikTok live, you guys, as we often do. Let me just trying to get this together. Going live. Give me a sec. And 3, 2, 1. We are now live on TikTok. All right. So again, we're going to be covering more information on how you can file a lawsuit against a debt collector or a debt buyer who is violating your rights. All right. So on our last video, we talked about how a debt collector cannot contact a third party to talk about your debts. And a debt collector cannot call your job when they know that you cannot take those type of phone calls When they do that, you can file a lawsuit against them. Now, this is the things that we have been doing with our company. And of course, we work with a whole law firm, and we have been our attorneys will file lawsuits in a heartbeat when our clients' rights are violated. The problem is sometimes people don't know their rights are violated because they don't know what their rights are, right? And there's a whole bunch of laws out there to help you know, what your rights are. It's called the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And the other one is called the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. Those two laws help govern what the creditors can do and what they can't do, what the credit bureaus can do and what they can't do, what the debt collectors can do and what they can't do, and of course, what you can do and what you can't do in terms of information being reported on your credit reports. And so we want to talk about some violations, all right? So let's get into it. We're not going to be here too long, but let's get into it. The first thing that we find that a person who has filed a bankruptcy. Now, we get a lot of clients who have filed bankruptcy, and of course, bankruptcy can stay on your credit report for either 7 years or 10 years. If it's a Chapter 7, a bankruptcy can stay on your credit report for 10 years. If it's a Chapter 13, it can stay on your credit report for 7 years. All right, so 10 years for a Chapter 7. 7 years for a Chapter 13. So that's automatically what you need to know. So a lot of times when we have clients who have filed bankruptcy and looking for a fresh start, and we have to look at, what chapter did you file? Was it a 7 or a 13? And then we have to look at how that information is being reported on your credit report. Because you guys, those of you who follow me, what is my motto? You do not have to live with bad credit. There is something you can do about it. And of course, you guys, TikTok, everybody, if you like what we're saying, give us some likes, give us some hearts, give us some thumbs up, whatever you do, give us, encourage us by giving us that as we give you the information so that you can go about cleaning up your credit. You can go about starting out, taking those scores from the low 400s, get it back up to the 800s. You just need the information. And that's basically what we do. We're giving you information on how you can repair your credit. All right. Because we go into this is 2022. And of course, like every year, the beginning of every year, a lot of people say, hey, this year I'm going to dedicate to getting my credit fixed. I'm going to dedicate to fixing my credit. And they say, hey, can I fix my credit on my own, or do I need to hire somebody to do it? Well, of course, you can actually repair your credit on your own. By all means, you can absolutely repair your credit on your own. You just have to know, how to go about doing it. You have to be consistent with it. You have to know what letters to write to credit bureaus. You have to know what you're writing to the credit bureaus. You just can't say anything, because the law says that, hey, the only thing that can be removed from your credit report or information that is inaccurate, incomplete, or unverifiable. So anything on your credit report that you feel is inaccurate or incomplete or unverifiable, you can dispute that information. You can't remove accurate information, but only inaccurate, unverifiable, or incomplete information. So when cleaning up your credit, you just have to be able to find those inaccurate information that they're reporting, because the law says whatever goes on your credit report, of course, you guys hear me say this, the law says it has to be 100% accurate. If it's not 100% accurate, you can dispute that information. They have to either fix it or they have to delete it from your credit report. And I'm telling you, 7 out of 10 times, if you point out inaccurate information, it will get deleted from your credit report. And that's the goal, to get information that is inaccurate from hurting your credit score or hurting your ability to get a home or a car with a low interest rate or low down payment, right? Those inaccuracies will hurt you to the core if you let them stay there. And as I often say, the credit bureaus, they will just, they, in my mind, this is what I'm thinking they saying. Hey, if you got inaccurate information on your credit report, if you don't say nothing about it, we're not going to say nothing about it. And they're going to keep it moving, right? Because one thing you have to understand, the credit bureaus do not make money cleaning up your credit. Let me say that again. The credit bureaus do not make money cleaning up your credit. They only make money when they can sell your information to lenders or sell your credit reports back. That's the only way they make money. So they don't make money cleaning up your credit. So they're not gung-ho about cleaning up your credit. So you have to make them abide by the law. You have to make them do what is right when it comes to cleaning up your credit. Don't just think they're going to do the right thing at all times. Remember, you are not their client. You, the consumer, are not the client of the credit bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, or Experian, the major 3 credit bureaus. Their clients are the lenders who pay them millions of dollars a year to look at credit reports. That's their base. That's their client. And so they're going to always tend to lean towards their client more so than lean towards you. So again, you have to make them do what you want them to do. Don't let the credit bureaus just do anything they want to do when it comes to putting information on your credit report. Don't let them do it. You have rights. You can file lawsuits when they don't fix inaccurate information. And this is what we're talking about today. We give you 2 more violations that they do that you can actually file a lawsuit. So let's begin with the very first one. So have you ever filed for any type of credit, a credit card, a loan, a mortgage, an auto? Have you ever filed any type of credit, filed for any type of credit, and it came back and said that you were deceased? That the lender sent you a letter saying, hey, we can't give you this credit because the credit bureaus are reporting that you are deceased, you are dead. If that ever happened to you, guess what? You were able to file a lawsuit against them because that's a major violation for them to report that you are deceased when you are not deceased. Now, I don't think that happens a lot, but it does happen. And we actually have a client that happened to, that we are now filing a lawsuit against TransUnion because of that. And guess what? Those lawsuits can be very lucrative in terms of you can get anywhere from $2,000 all the way up to $10,000 just for that violation. Now, who can use $10,000? Like I said, that's not something that happens a lot, but it does happen. So even in the future, if you file a lawsuit and it comes back and the lender says, hey, we can't grant you this because the credit bureaus, any one of them, is reporting that you are deceased, you know you're not deceased. If that happens, reach out to me. I mean, you can reach out to any consumer lawyer, but I'm saying reach out to me because we make those things happen. Our lawyers make those type of cases really happen for our clients. So be on the lookout for that. It happens. I didn't realize it happened until it happened to one of my clients. But yes, reporting being denied credit because the credit bureaus inaccurately reported that you are deceased is a major violation. When you're not deceased, is a major violation. Right? So I find out a lot of times, a lot of people who are working with other credit repair companies or individuals, and a lot of times they get stuck on certain things because they would say, you know what, we're trying to get this removed. We find something that's inaccurate. It's definitely inaccurate, but they're not fixing it. What can we do? They're not fixing it. And they'll do about 7, 8 dispute letters and still it won't move. And then the bad thing about that is they would then advise their client to, hey, maybe just settle this. Even though they have a factual dispute, they have a factual inaccuracy information being reported on their credit report. But because a lot of these credit companies do not work with attorneys, consumer attorneys, I believe they do their clients some, maybe they don't know, but injustice. Because instead of telling them to settle, they should be filing a lawsuit. They should be getting with a consumer attorney and filing a lawsuit. So you just can't let the debt collectors violate your rights and do nothing. You can't let the credit bureaus violate your rights and you do nothing. You can't let the original creditor violate your rights and you do nothing. And I can imagine if I was to do a survey, if we had a lot of people, hundreds of people watching this YouTube or Facebook or TikTok, I believe that we survey that, at least close to half of that survey would produce people saying, yes, that happened to me. That I filed for credit and the lender told me that I was denied because the credit bureau said I was deceased. That, my friend, is a major, major violation. And we cannot allow the credit bureaus to get away with that. All right, so that's one. Let's get to the next one. And this has to do with bankruptcy. You know, we started to talk about that a little earlier, but a lot of people who file bankruptcy don't realize that when you file bankruptcy, there should not be a balance being reported on your credit report. Because if you file bankruptcy and it's granted that you was given that discharge for bankruptcy, then that means all of your creditors who were placed under that bankruptcy, you no longer have to pay them, particularly when we're talking in Chapter 7. Right, but this you can also apply Chapter 10 in certain areas, Chapter 13 in some areas as well. But major Chapter 7. All right. Once you get that, then they should not be reporting a balance. You should not have a balance being reported to any one of your creditors that was placed under bankruptcy. But you know what? We see that a lot of creditors still report, or the credit bureaus will report a balance after you have filed bankruptcy and your bankruptcy was discharged. And now you don't owe any of those creditors. But if you know, and again, I can only talk to you about clients that I've had over the years. We've had a few, not a lot, but we've had a few. When we looked at their bankruptcy, some of their accounts were still reporting a balance. And that's a violation. And you know what we did? Our attorneys did? They filed a lawsuit. And they was able to get our clients some money back while having that account deleted from their credit report. Right? So these are violations. It happens. You don't even know it happens because most people are unaware of these types of violations on their credit report. You'll be surprised that we get bankruptcies off. We get bankruptcies deleted from people's credit reports all the time. Right? It's not always easy to get bankruptcy deleted, but when we find inaccurate information, the way that they're reporting it may not be accurate, then yes, we proceed to get those bankruptcies deleted, whether it's a Chapter 7 or a Chapter 13. Because again, you cannot, I don't care what account it is, I don't care who it comes from, a lender cannot report inaccurate information on your credit report. And unfortunately, it happens over 70% of the times. Well, to be honest with you, I don't think I've had a case yet where a client came to me and did not have some type of inaccurate information on their credit report. And again, let's talk about what is inaccurate information. Well, if you owe, let's say Capital One, $5,400, and they report, and TransUnion says and they report a balance, of 5,400 TransUnion, but then Equifax report 5,300, and maybe Experience might report $5,450. Well, that's inaccurate information because you can't have three different types of balances for the same account being reported at the same time. You either owe $5,400, or you owe $5,450, or another balance. But you can't owe three different balances at the same time for one account. And that's where we find inaccurate information. Or they may report that, hey, your credit limit, Capital One may say your credit limit is $5,000. But TransUnion might say your credit limit is being reported at $5,400. And Experian may have a different credit limit. You can look at your credit report, and that's, you got to get all three of your credit reports in order to look at it and find these inaccuracies, right? And you got to get it straight from the credit bureaus, right? Don't try to get it from Credit Karma and some of these monitoring systems to look at it. Get it directly from the credit bureaus. Go to annualcreditreport.com, get all three of your credit reports and look at them, right? One may say you had a late balance. I'm just using an example. TransUnion might say you have a late balance, or you had a late payment in June of 2015. But Equifax may say you were 60 days late in June of 2015. Well, you can't be 30 days and 60 days late in the same month for the same account. It just doesn't work like that. That's inaccurate information being reported. And the government said they can't do that. Things like that, you have the right to dispute that information. Or for an example, that TransUnion might say this account was open on August of 2020, but then Equifax may say the same account was actually open in July of 2020. You see, if it was really open in August of 2020, then TransUnion should be reporting August of 2020. Equifax should be reporting August of 2020, and Experian should be reporting August of 2020. If they're not all reporting the same information, well, then somebody's getting inaccurate information, and the lender is not providing information that's 100% accurate. And if that's the case, you have the right to file a lawsuit against them. You have a right to, not just a lawsuit. You have a right first to dispute that information and give them a chance to fix it or delete it from your credit report. If they refuse to do that, you could then file a lawsuit against them for reporting inaccurate information. So 2 more things that you can file a lawsuit for. One, if you have been denied credit and the lender that you applied for credit for said, hey, you're being denied because the credit bureau is saying you are deceased, that you are basically dead, and you're not, obviously, you can file a lawsuit because of that. You don't have to sit there and argue with them and say, hey, how can they say that? No. Once they report that information, you go seek out a consumer lawyer. If you don't have one, definitely reach out to me. And you guys know you can find me. All my information is always in the description of my videos. How to reach me from my Instagram to my email address to my Facebook group page to my TikTok. So you can always follow me. And a lot of you guys do reach out to me because of that. And I do appreciate that. And say, hey, we found you on YouTube, or we found you on TikTok, or I found you on Facebook. So I appreciate that. So if you don't have an attorney, reach out to us because we can make that happen for you. And then the second thing, of course, if you file bankruptcy, then you need to look at how they're reporting information on that bankruptcy. They should not be reporting a balance after you have filed bankruptcy and it has been discharged by the courts. They should not be reporting a balance. They should not be saying you owe Verizon $100. Or you have a balance of Wells Fargo of $500. Nope. If that account was put under your bankruptcy, it should be reporting a zero balance. A zero balance. If it is not, yes, you can file a lawsuit against them. And by all means, take advantage of that, because we've got to get to the point where we stop allowing the creditors to take advantage of us because we don't know what our rights are. There's a lot of information now that you can seek out all over social media. You can find people talking about violations or talking about inaccurate information. Go on YouTube, you can just type in anything. And so there should be no excuse for really most people not knowing, but we know there's some people who don't know, of course. And so we have to keep bringing you these videos and YouTubes and TikToks and Instagram live just to help educate the consumer about their rights when it comes to consumer debt. And that's the space that I'm in, consumer debt, all things consumer debt. We try to educate you or give you the information so you can start that process of cleaning up your credit. So you can start that process of taking your scores where it needs to go, building positive credit while getting that negative credit deleted from your credit report. That's what we do. That's how we help people. That's how we educate people. And again, let me say, I should have said this in the beginning, of course, but I am not an attorney, so I don't give out any legal advice. If you need legal advice, please seek out a consumer attorney. All the information we give you is for educational purposes only. So you can take the education that we give you, build upon it, search more, get more information about it, and then use it to help you clean up your credit. All right. So we basically hit our 30-minute mark here again. And I want to thank you guys for coming on. Even if you're watching this as a repeat, make sure you hit the like button and share the video. To my YouTube people, just make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so whenever we go live, you will get that information. So all my TikTok people, make sure you go to my profile and you follow me. So whenever we go live, you'll get the notification as well, because we're talking all things credit all the time, but most of the time, the majority of the times, giving you information on how you can clean up your credit. And in return for all this free information, you know what we ask for? Just give us some likes, give us some thumbs up, all that good stuff. So all these social media pages know that you guys are actually participating in the videos that we're doing. I know sometimes we get a whole lot, sometimes we get very few. It all depends. But anyway, just keep following us so you can get the information on how to clean up your credit. We got a couple of more violations we're going to be doing on our next video. And then we're going to move probably to something else to help you understand the credit repair process. So once again, this is the Credit Doctor coming to you with our video series on violations that you can file a lawsuit against a debt collector, debt buyer, credit bureaus, or the original creditor. So everybody out there, you stay blessed. Whatever you do, stay blessed. What's even more important is that you are a blessing. And with that,